In the entire car audio or 12-volt electronic industry, I'm not going to say there's a tremendous amount of Canadian product, but there are certainly a few. And I feel we do a really good job at the ones that we do. And my next brand that we're about to talk about here is no exception. It is born from the minds and, those big cheeses and smart people over at Trends Electronics. And the brand is, of course, iConnects, which provides solutions in cabling, RCA interconnects and power cable, and really has done a great job putting out a product that makes sense, works, and is from here. So let's find out all about it. Let's bring Grant McFadder on from Trends Electronics to tell us all about it.
Benjamin.
Mr. Grant.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Industry Week is off to a great start. We're getting some great content out to the dealers. And, some stuff is high tech, right? And some stuff is necessary. And I feel like what we're about to talk about, you cannot install any car audio system without this type of product. And that is, of course, iConnects. Now, I'd like to preface this conversation because we did have the opportunity to sit down during a previous Connected episode where you told us about it. But I think you got a couple of new announcements. I think we're going to have a chance here to go maybe just a little bit deeper so people and dealers can understand the benefits of looking at this brand.
Yeah, and there's a lot more things, which I'll touch on in a little bit, about the pricing of this type of product in the marketplace. Copper has a massive escalation in price increase from the same time period last year. It's gone up from $5,100 a ton to $9,700 a ton.
Holy cow.
So pricing on this product from everybody has to go up. It just has to. And that's on bare copper. A higher end pure tinned copper product can be up to 30% more than that for costing on it. So it's a product that's going to be increasing, and it's needed on every install. So we wanted to make something that's top notch, not half-assed or half-baked.
No, absolutely. And you know what? From the beginning and from the outset and down to the packaging, there's a lot of thought involved with the iConnects brand. I noticed that you had that giveaway contest of the new gaming headphones, so I think I see where iConnects could be going. But on this, I think we're talking about primarily accessories and cables, right? For this session.
Yeah, the brand's going to be accessories and cables. We have some gaming headphones, but I don't see the line expanding in the near future. And past that, it was okay. Mr. Vendrasco, who's doing all the switching here. He was the guy. He's the masked man behind the scenes. He did all the packaging, all the design of the packaging, and everything is all Vendrasco. So he's
sharp job, Derek.
Very talented dude.
All right, no, but what? That was some concerning facts that you just put down as far as price of copper, and that affecting, I guess, everybody who deals with copper. But you had also mentioned tinned copper. So what is tinned copper? Is that something that's more cost effective, or is it something that's purpose specific?
It's not more cost effective. Like I said, it can be up to 30% more than bare copper itself. But there's some serious benefits to using tinned copper over bare copper. It's longevity is one of the things. Bare copper can oxidize, obviously, and we're not putting it in the best environment either in a car, which sits outside probably 90% of its life, or if it's lucky, it's in the garage. But humidity and stuff like that takes its toll on all electronics, never mind the wire side. So, like I said, 10 times better shelf life on a tinned copper cable over a bare copper cable. Some other things to other benefits as well is because of the tin on it, it's easier to connect. So if you're soldering this to a ring terminal or to a grounding post or anything like that, tin is a primary component in solder. So having the tin already on the cable,
it bonds naturally.
It bonds a lot easier, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The corrosion side is obviously super important because we don't want it to corrode. And because of the tin, it acts like an insulator on the copper. With us being as well a big party in the marine industry, it also gives us a capability of getting a marine rating. So the Coast Guard, if you want the marine rating, it has to be tinned copper. So it kind of kills two birds with one stone for us. It gives us the marine rating, and it also, gives you the longer life cable.
So, I mean, your dealers that are looking at Wet Sounds or Exile or any of those marine products, this is a perfect accessory to go with those products.
Well, I mean, on cable, this is what we're connecting. your amplifier to. And if you can't deliver the current to the amplifier, we can't expect these amplifiers that are doing 1,000 watts, 2,000 watts, or in extreme SPL stuff, 10, 15,000 watts without good copper cable. So I'm hoping that CCA fad is gone. I still see a lot of companies using it, and I don't. We did as well back in the day, but I'm glad to say that it's hopefully on the way out, and people, especially the better dealers, are seeing the benefit of pure copper cable.
All right, well, let's get into the presentation. I know we got quite a bit of cover in this short period of time.
Yep. So, this is 100% designed and engineered from the team at Trends. We've had the guys that were on previously, Bill Hasbrook from Exile, obviously was with Phoenix Gold, and for many years, Trends was a big supporter of Phoenix Gold accessories. At one point, I think we were doing close to $3 million a year just in accessories. So we went back to the place that sourced that, and it's in Taiwan. So there's two benefits of that. Number one, we know it's a really good manufacturer. And then number two, with all these tariffs that have been in place on anything going into the U.S., because we sell this product in the U.S., it doesn't have any tariffs on it. Of course, the biggest and most important thing is the 100% pure copper. Tinned copper, like I mentioned. On the amp kit side, we have two different series, both using pure copper. We don't cheap out on the content. It's just a strand count, not the quality of the cable. We have RCA cables, distribution blocks, some other new things I'll show shortly. On the retail side of things, we wanted to make the bags easily resealable. I was a retailer for 17 years before I got involved with Trends, and we used to rip open the bags all the time, or if it was a blister pack, and take it to the guys in the install bay. You dumbass! It's a 5 meter I need, not a 3 meter. And then you'd have this ugly ass, cable hanging off a hook in your showroom. So we wanted to eliminate that. So a really simple thing was, have a resealable bag so we can put the wrong product back in the bag and get you the right one.
Right.
And, we are the manufacturer, essentially, not physically making it, but we're dealing direct with the manufacturer. So, you've basically got factory direct pricing. There's no extra middleman in the way. So, definitely a cost savings for our dealers. I just threw that up there because that's actually a graph from the London Metal Exchange. It's not Grant McFadder fake news. It's actually real. You can go You can go on to the London Metal Exchange and look it up. You just drag down copper, do a historical graph on it, and that's what you're going to see. So, in May of last year, it was $5,100 a ton, and now we're up to $9,700 a ton. And it's supposed to go past $10,000 a ton very shortly. It's crazy. So
is that an all-time high?
Yeah. Oh, by a mile. Like we used to base all our pricing at $6,000, so we had some play.
Yeah,
it's nuts. So hopefully it stabilizes and doesn't go much past 10,000, and hopefully it drops back down again.
Unfortunately, it's not just copper being affected. Many precious metals are being affected. Yeah. So
and freight. I mean, if you've looked at freight lately, a container from China used to cost us $1,700. It's now $6,000. So you've got all these costs involved, and I'm sure I'm not the only guy going to talk about it this weekend. But prices are going up, people. I'm sorry.
It's the way of the world.
It is. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, let's keep it rolling.
So just talk about our power cable real quick. We should pull up on this one, Derek. So this is our 1/0 gauge power cable. Not focusing very good. It's focusing on
there it is. You got it.
So all the cables we use are right on the jacket. We all use AWG, which is American wire gauge. We're not taking 1 gauge cable and or 1 gauge jacket and putting 4 gauge cable inside it. So it's pure copper, the real AWG American wire gauge cable that's in each of the cables, whether it's 1/0, 4 gauge, 8 gauge, 12, 16, and so forth. So we're not cheating on what's inside the jacket. It's real sizes. A lot of attention to detail on the product itself. If you look at this as a picture of the speaker wire, the positive lead is actually square, the negative is round. That's not new. But we also made emphasis on the printing on the cable, that it was very legible. So if a tech was underneath the seat of a car or in a poorly lit trunk, it's easy to identify which is the positive, which is the negative. Mr. Vendrasco was an installer in his previous life, and that was one of the things he wanted to make clear, that it's important that we help these installers out and identify. It's a simple thing as that, but it's a big deal when you're underneath the trunk or underneath the seat of a car and can't figure out which wire is which. It's a big deal. A couple of new products that hit the market late last year. We have a 9-wire integration cable. This is the only cable we use bare wire in, because it's got a thick outer jacket on it. We don't have to worry about insulating it so much. So it's a 9-conductor, 20-gauge cable in 100-foot spools, and very cost effective. I won't talk about pricing, so if there's end users on here, we don't know how much we're paying for this stuff. So the other one on the right is an important SKU for us, again, being in marine, and a lot of the marine products are using RGB in lighting in all their speakers and coaxes, subwoofers, and tower speakers, etc. So this is a combination speaker and RGB all in one jacket, so it makes the tech's life a lot easier when you're pulling the cables. You're pulling one for the speaker wire and the RGB, not pulling 2 separate cables. So again, from the install bay side of things, a little trick that they came up with. This is pure tinned copper. Because it is going in the marine environment, we want to make sure it didn't oxidize, so it is the pure tinned copper product. This is what, Vendrasco's done a killer job on the packaging of these. The Pro kits and the Core kits. Like I mentioned earlier, there's 2 different series, both very, very beautiful. So when it's hanging on the wall in your showroom, it looks expensive. We want it to look expensive, and the quality shows through. The PF on the front stands for Pure Flow, which is our trademark on the quality of the cable we're using with the Pure Flow copper. I'll just touch on the differences between the two different kits. So in the Pro kits, we're using a higher strand count. It's 1666 strands on the 4-gauge. And on the Core kit, it is a 4-gauge jacket, but it's a slightly less winding on it. So it's 1470 strands. So there's a couple of hundred strands difference between the copper, and that also helps us get a lower price point.
On the price point, yeah.
Yeah, on the fuse holder, it's exactly the same fuse holder, but on the Pro kit, it's terminated already for the installer, so all he has to do is screw it down. On the Core kit, you have to attach the ends to it. Again, that's an assembly cost savings that we can pass on the price of the kit. The speaker wire...
Does it come with the ring terminal?
Oh, it comes with everything.
Oh, it comes with
exactly everything in the box. We don't,
okay.
Like I said, we don't cheap on anything in the box. It's just some assembly stuff and a little bit of a strand count difference. On the speaker wire on the Pro kit is 16 gauge. It's 18 gauge on the Core kit. Most installers end up throwing that stuff in the garbage anyway. I've seen plenty of it in the install bays over my years. The RCA cable is the higher end twisted pair with the 90-degree connector on the RCA cable. And on the cheaper cable, it is still a good quality twisted pair, but not as high end as the one in the Pro kit. So that's really the only difference between the 2 kits, but there's a substantial savings there at a cost savings for the consumer. That's everything that's in the kit. So you get all the ring terminals, you get the Allen keys for the fuse holder, you get the zap straps, the butt connector if you use it, or you can solder the remote wire. Speaker wire in the kit, the grommet for the firewall, and the screws for the fuse holder. So everything you need for the kit is inside the packaging. We talked about this at the beginning, was the tearaway bags. So I've actually got one here. You see what I mean? So if you see at the top here, there's the little notches there, which you would normally tear away if you're using something else. Do not tear those. You don't need to tear them. We actually have a little flap on the back where you can open it up like a Ziploc, and you can take your cable out. I take it to the back, give it to Derek, and Derek says, "McFadder, you're an idiot. I need a 5-meter cable. This is a 4.5. I can go back, put it back in the packaging, and no harm, no foul. This can go back on the slat wall."
Oh, God. How many times did I open one of those blister packs, realize I took the wrong one?
Well, I don't want to say how many times Vendrasco called me an idiot for giving him the wrong size cable, so that's why we did it. And we made it very clear on the front as well, if it's hanging on the wall, what size it is. There's some technical notes on the back with the proper product number when you're entering it in the computer, so it matches your system with the UPC code and such. So again, we just try to make it as user-friendly as possible. It's a simple thing. It's a bag for an RCA cable, but you know, these are not cheap. So we wanted to make some good quality products. Just to give you a shot of the cable itself, rather than trying to hold it in my hand, there's the normal ends on the one side, and then we have a 90-degree connector on the other end. You know, that's nice at the amplifier side or the head unit side. Some cars, we've got a very narrow dash behind the radio. You don't have room for a full-length RCA, so we gave you the 90-degree connector on it. And if you also look at the cable, we also identified easily which is the positive and the negative. The black, obviously negative, and the lighter grayish color is the positive. And then on the RCA end as well, we've got a black little window with the IC logo on it for the black, for the negative, and the orange, which is our color for positive.
Close enough to red.
Yeah, close enough.
Oh, new. I like new.
Yeah, these are new. We actually got a few calls from several dealers on this, and I thought I was being stupid saying, you know, you can buy these from anywhere, but apparently it's hard to get good quality ring terminals. So we went out and sourced them. Again, it seems like a small thing, but we went and found some better quality ones. These are all nickel-plated ring terminals. We have two different series. The ones on the top left are what we call our Pro series, and the top is sealed. If you can see, the end is not, the end isn't exposed. The copper wire doesn't get exposed. So that's usually where you would get any kind of corrosion happening. There would be the wire exposed on the top to water, heat from the engine, stuff like that. So the Pro terminals, we have the closed ends. It doesn't have the split on it for the crimp. So if you are going to solder these on, or even if you are going to get crimped, you get more surface contact to your power cables from ground. The one on the bottom right is just the regular style ring terminals that you would get. So nothing super special there, but again, I thought it was kind of weird that people would ask me for ring terminals when I thought there's a gazillion of them on the market, but apparently it's not an easy thing to get as we thought. So we will have these. They're actually on the next shipment. I believe it's due in next week. So again, small thing, but we'll have them in all sizes, 1/0, 4-gauge, and 8-gauge ring terminals. We'll also have some new fuse holders to bring in. There's the 1/0 fuse holder, which we didn't have before, which will be on the same shipment as well. This is another product we were asked for as well. Again, I thought it was kind of a very easy to get product, but I guess it was easy to get good quality product. So HighLow converters. So this is a very good quality high level to low level RCA cable adapter. Up to 10 volts of input on these. So it's not a super high-end piece, but it gives you, for probably 80% of the applications out there, an easy high to low level converter. Easy for me to say. So these are good quality units. Everyone that's tried these, we actually sent out a bunch of samples, and people are very happy with the quality of these units. So again, I thought it was a kind of really easy to get product, but we had demand for these from dealers, so we went out and sourced it.
All right.
On the 4-channel one, there's a couple of unique things. Obviously, you've got your 4 channels of speaker level input. You've got your remote trigger output, so you don't have to have a remote signal turn on to get this thing working. You can operate this in 2-channel or 4-channel mode by just depressing the button. There's 2 different modes for turning it on. There's signal sensing, obviously from seeing the signal of the audio, or DC offset, where it's seeing the difference between signal ground and chassis ground, and then turning the unit on. So on the output side, there's a high-low level button on the side as well for the output. So you can that gives you the different level you can step down the signal. So on the low level, it will take your input. So if let's say you've got 10 volts of input, it'll step it down to 5 volts of input, and that's usually good enough for most amplifiers to operate safely with 5 volts of input signal.
Well, there's radios with 5 volt of input out now.
Yeah, so. Yeah. Head unit amplifiers don't like 10 volts of input. They don't like that much voltage input. So you want to step it down. And then on the high setting, it'll step it down by 1/3. So you can take as much as 15 amps of input on the input signal on these. So it gives you a 5 volts on the output. So maximum 15 volts on the input. If you have more than that on your input, you need to use something else from another brand. So this gives you a really affordable price point piece. You're talking $60 retail and $99 retail for these. Yeah. So
probably good to have in stock. You know what I mean? Because
essential to have in stock, because it's one of those things that if you don't have it, you're kind of
up, you might miss a sale. You might lose a sale, literally.
Yeah, or you're gonna have Vendrasco flipping out on you on the install bay.
Grant, you got like 2 minutes left.
I'm almost done. I just this is the POP stuff we have for your accessories on your accessory wall. We have reorder tags, because I've been there where I didn't know what was on the hook and you don't know what to reorder. So simple things like reorder tags. You can put the model number on there when you're down to 0, or hopefully down to 1 or 2, so you're not down to 0. You can reorder them. We have iConnects headers, planogram for your showroom if you're not sure how to set up your planogram properly. Our reps will help you out with that. And that's really it, other than the next thing we're working on will be a higher end multi-channel RCA cable, which is...
that's what that is. Okay.
That's not the final unit. That's somebody else's, but it's what we're working on right now. We're going to do a higher end RCA cable with 6-channel configuration on it. Again, from the install side, rather than pulling 3 2-meter RCA, 2-channel RCAs, you're pulling 1. And we're seeing a lot of systems that's a 5-channel amplifier. So, really nice line. Obviously, we've taken a lot of time to make sure that on the retail side of things, the packaging looks really good, so you can sell it as a high quality product.
But of course, everything's available in bulk too, right? Because I've seen it in the shops.
Yeah, all the spools are available in bulk. The bags are easily shipped. They're in master box of 8, so it's not like it's a huge quantity you have to buy. We make it very simple. And it's a great quality product. I will have samples to send out if people haven't seen this or want to see it before they buy it. This isn't the actual unit, but I have whips, 1.5-foot whips that I'll send you samples of all the different cables. So there's 4-gauge, 8-gauge speaker wire. Yep. There's also there's a couple of new speaker wire products. There's a 14-gauge and an 18-gauge coming. Also, that's been a demand from the sales floor that we needed those. So,
all right.
It's an awesome product, and
that's iConnects.
I think you'll like the pricing on it. So it's very, very, very cost effective and competitive as far as a product goes.
Well, give Trends a call and check out their iConnects line of accessories and wires. Lots of thought have gone into it. It looks sharp, and if your sales guy screws up, don't worry. You didn't ruin the package. You can put it right back on the peg. Thanks, Grant.
No problem. Thanks, man.
Take care. iConnects, guys, from Trends Electronics, Canadian brand. If you want to support Canadian, that's a great way to do it. Check them out, iConnects from Trends Electronics. I'm your host, Ben Wu, for another session of CMA Industry Week. Until next time, we connect.